Welcome. Hello, everybody. Welcome on in. Happy Sunday. We are recording this on a Sunday. By the way, I actually did get a new webcam, so if I look bigger, you can actually see me better. That's because I just got a new webcam the other day. I got a brand new webcam which I'm using it. So I hope it goes well. I hope my microphone is good. Hope you guys can hear me pretty well. But anyway, welcome welcome everyone to my 10th episode of my Zelda podcast, the Kokiri Chronicles, which, by the way, I do this, which is a Zelda themed podcast. I do this every third day of the month where I talk about Zelda for all things Zelda related in terms of theories, lore, references, Easter eggs, all that good jazz. Honestly, I love what I do. It's been great. And looking at the Twitch chat, I see we got Miyoshi and Goof. Welcome on in, y'all. Welcome on in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I do look blue. Well, yes. One, I am wearing a blue shirt. And two, that is my ring light. So if you can, honestly, like if you look closely, Miyoshi, you can definitely see it from the glare of my glasses. So that is my ring light you're seeing right now. That's my ring light. I decided to make it blue for today, honestly, because of today's topic that we are going to talk about. But anyway, if you guys are new here to the channel, and if you guys are watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to do the following by liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good jazz, as it really helps me out. I record this every third day of the month, and then I upload them onto YouTube the next day. So last time, in honor to kick off Spooktober month, I was here with my good friend and mod Sora850, which, by the way, if you guys are not following Sora, y'all should definitely go check him out over on Twitch. He also does Zelda, a bunch of awesome variety games, and Kingdom Hearts, a bunch of other cool stuff. So please go follow Sora as well. Last month, for October 1st, Spooktober month, we were talking about the Happy Mask Salesman from Majora's Mask. We went into some deep discussions talking about who is he, what was his desire into retrieving Majora's Mask, why does he have Majora's Mask in his possession, how did he get it, what was his purpose of being in the main Zelda games, being Ocarina of Time, and mostly his starring role in Majora's Mask. So if you guys have not seen that episode, definitely go check it out if you haven't. So, and also anybody in Twitch chat, let me know if you guys can hear the music that is playing right now. If it's too loud, if it's quiet, if it's just fine, it's not cutting me out or anything, please, someone in the Twitch chat, I'm sure Goof will let me know. Let me know if y'all can hear my music that actually is playing. I'm hoping it's definitely capturing right now. It should be able to be capturing. Hopefully it's not too loud or anything, though. Hope it's not loud as me or anything. So anyway, so for today's topic, also Sora, welcome in. Good to see you. Welcome on in, Sora. Alright, so anyway, y'all, for today's topic, this is going to be about Fi, which honestly, for those of y'all who don't know, Sora says he does not hear any music. Don't hear any music. Really? Really, no music at all? That's weird. Okay, hang on. Goofy said it? Okay, let me go in and fix that real quick. I'll go ahead and take care of that. I'll take care of that right now. Give me 1 second. That's kind of weird, and I just uploaded it. That is so weird. Okay. Okay. Alright, let's do this. Okay, no advertisements. No advertisements. Okay, come on. Give me my music. Give me my music. Okay. Go ahead and loop it. Alright. Alright, so you guys, some of y'all can hear this now. Okay. Okay. How's that? Oh! Can y'all hear that? Is that louder than me or anything? How is it? How's that? This is perfect? Okay. So anyway, going back on topic. So, for anybody who has or has not played Skyward Sword, we are going to be talking about Fi. Which anyone, for those of y'all who don't know, she is a spirit that lives within the Master Sword. And as for today's topic, we're going to be talking about why she never left. So I'm going to be diving into every discussion. I will be talking about as to like her first appearance when she first met Link, the hero chosen by the goddess Hylia in Skyward Sword, and how to me, she was giving power to every single legendary hero who only wields the Master Sword. I'm not going to be talking to heroes who wielded the other swords, like the Kokiri Blade, or the Force Sword. No, only heroes who have wielded the Master Sword. So that's what I'm going to be talking about for today. So we'll be talking about 5. But first, we got to take it back from the start. We got to take it back where it all began. So for anyone who does not know, by the way, this is a major spoiler for those who have not played Skyward Sword. But if you have played Skyward Sword, awesome. It's a very great game. So, this whole thing started a long time ago at the beginning of the timeline. Obviously, we all know that Skyward Sword is the game that kicked off the Zelda series. But before like the creation of Fi actually happened, there was an epic battle going on between the goddess Hylia, her servants, and then the minions against the Demon King Demise, including Demise himself. So, proving to be victorious, Hylia was able to defeat Demise and to seal him away. So, but around this time, while Demise was imprisoned, so the goddess Hylia, before she moved on with her life, she created a little beta, like a prototype Master Sword. I guess that's what I'm going to call it. To where it was called the Goddess Blade. And from there, she even created Fi, who was basically more like a mechanical spirit. Like, honestly, if you guys looked at her design, you know, she definitely looks really mechanical-ish, though, when you do think about it. Like, even by listening to her speech. Which, by the way, for anyone who has played Skyward Sword, anytime y'all hear her say matas, I think that's like a Hylian translation for calling somebody master. At least I could be wrong on that part. But if anybody knows that part, definitely tell me. But I do believe that every time she talks to Link, she says matas. That is like a Hylian way, like a Hylian translation of saying master. So, Fi was created by the goddess Hylia to serve as a purpose and as a guide, to where she would only choose the one person who would be worthy of wielding the sword. Well, first, obviously, it does start out as the Goddess Blade. But, you guys know that from the start of Skyward Sword, we know that Link definitely starts having dreams and visions about Fi. And then, one night, he actually starts leaving the Knight Academy. He sees Fi, and he follows Fi all the way to the inside of the Goddess statue on Skyloft. And as for this Link, this incarnation of Link, honestly, you know, we honestly don't know much about him. We do know that he is a student at the Knight Academy. I'm sure he definitely gets his swordsman skills. He does get his swordsman skills by going to the sparring hall that his instructor, Master Aegis, teaches him. So that's definitely where he gets his swordsman skills. But when he enters the inside of the goddess statue, Link finally interacts with Fi. And she states to Link that she definitely was created as a purpose, as a guide to where the goddess Hylia wanted her to choose the legendary hero who would be worthy of wielding the blade, also known as the Goddess Blade. And then from there, Link was able to raise the Goddess Blade, raise it skyward, and from there on, Fi definitely dubbed Link as her master. And she even states later on in the game that she will serve Link until her duty is done, to where she has to go back to sleep. Also, looking at Twitch chat, we got Bev coming on in to the stream. Welcome on in, Bev. And Mo Chocolate, thank you for the 5 biddies. And to answer your question, no, I did not get the Master Sword replica. I did not, unfortunately. But welcome on in, friends. Welcome on in. So good to see y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Thank y'all for tuning into the podcast. So after Link definitely wields the Link from Skyward Sword, after he wields the Goddess Blade, he goes on his mission, which obviously you guys know about the mission to where he had to fulfill his destiny. Obviously, we all know he gets chosen to be the hero chosen by the goddess Hylia. I mean, that's mostly... I mean, this Link definitely goes by many titles. He goes by the hero chosen by the goddess Hylia. He goes by the hero Sky, the hero of Hyrule. He goes through many different names in Skyward Sword. And to where, you know, mostly his purpose is to go find his friend Zelda. Because honestly, you know, he definitely cares about her very much. And honestly, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about when we know that Link and Zelda definitely have a really strong relationship together in this game. Honestly, I absolutely adore them so much. I adore Link and Zelda together in Skyward Sword. So honestly, Link goes through... I can't even speak. So Link actually goes through each of the various places of the surface. He visits Faron, he visits Nehru, he visits Eldin, and then obviously he definitely encounters the imprisoned, that giant piece of avocado, which honestly, spoiler alert, definitely reveals to be the Demon King Demise. And no matter how many times that the imprisoned would fall, he was always growing, getting stronger, and always coming back. So after learning through the various songs, because Link had to learn various songs, which later on turns out to be the Song of the Hero. He definitely learns the songs from the Three Dragons. He also learns the final verse of the song from a deity of the sky who lives in the Thunder Crown, being Levias. And Link also learns that in order to have his blade be at full potential, he would have to go back to the areas he'd visited and to acquire the three sacred flames, the flames of Din, Nehru, and Furor, which obviously are a resemblance of the three goddesses of Hyrule. So after the flames kind of merge on with the goddess blade, later on it goes into a stronger goddess sword, and then it turns into a white sword. And then later, when Link interacts with Zelda, way before she goes to sleep, she says her final blessings, and then from there, the goddess blade, also the white sword, whichever you want to call it, it has so many names, finally goes off to be the Blade of Evil's Bane, the sword that you actually see in my hand. But throughout Link's journey in Skyward Sword, Fi was always with him, every step of the way, facing Garahim, facing most of Demise's monsters and creations. This Link definitely has had a really long journey, especially consider that he is the first Link to use the Master Sword and the first Link to acquire the Triforce. Sora says the white sword was the fourth sword way before. Yeah, that is true, but I think there was a hand sword that's called the white sword. I could be wrong on that, but but I feel like the sword definitely has a different name. When it gets enhanced with the flames. Like I said, I could be wrong on that statement, but I feel like I read somewhere that it once enhanced, the goddess sword is an enhanced blade, being the white sword. But yes, that is true. There is the sword called the white sword in Minish Cap, way before it becomes the fourth sword. But yes, you are correct on that, Sora. So later on, Link and Demise definitely face off, and obviously we all know Demise falls in battle, and then from there, ladies and gentlemen, the Demon King is defeated. Demise is defeated, and you guys know how this goes. Demise places the curse on the spirit of the hero and the goddess Hylia, to where he will come and haunt them, and even states that an incarnation of his hatred will rise again, which obviously later on we will get to that pretty soon in the later game. But since Link actually defeated Demise, and the darkness gets sealed away within the Master Sword, especially where Fi actually sleeps, because Fi sleeps within the Master Sword. Fi's duty is done. Her duty is now closed, and it's time for her to carry on her sleep. So, So Link definitely climbs to the pedestal up in the Steel Temple and places the Master Sword back where it belongs and ready to go to sleep. And honestly, throughout the series, we can definitely know that this sword, throughout the timeline, is always sleeping, just waiting for another hero to rise up and to use his blade once again. So that is definitely this is definitely like the origin story of this sword from Skyward Sword. And then, y'all, we are going to skip Minish Cap and the original 4 swords because they have no involvement with the Master Sword. The different incarnations of Link do not use the Master Sword. They use the 4 sword, but definitely around that time, this sword is still sleeping in its pedestal. But we can definitely move on to our next hero. And yes, I'm going to go through each of the 3 timelines, especially Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Don't worry, y'all. I definitely will get to those 2 games as well. I will get to them. So I'm going to go through each of the 3 timelines that have an involvement with the Master Sword, and to where each hero who definitely shares whether he's like blood or spirit of the hero, but definitely the ones who wield the Master Sword. So first off, we're gonna go forth to obviously my personal favorite Link, which you guys know. The first time we get to see the Master Sword in 3D being in Ocarina of Time. So, the Hero of Time. The Hero of Time final is like the next Link in line to wield the Master Sword. Well, to kind of like summarize things back, obviously this Hero of Time definitely has been through a lot. He's been a complete outcast, always known as that kid who's like, the boy without a fairy, the boy without a fairy, the boy who grew up in the Kokiri forest. And then later, fate chose him to act so quickly when he was just a little boy. And then he goes on this quest to go collect the 3 spiritual stones requested by Princess Zelda to actually open, and also to play the Song of Time, which is the key of opening the door of time, which right behind those doors, those stone doors, lies the Blade of Evil's Bane, the Master Sword. And then from there, a young Link definitely pulls it out from the pedestal, but he definitely has to be put into stasis. Because while he definitely is worthy, and the sages himself, they chose him to be the next hero. The only reason why that they put him to stasis for 7 years and they didn't put him into special training or anything was because he was too young to be the hero. So that's why they had to put him to sleep. But the thing about this sword is that this definitely plays as a key to time and a key from entering to the sacred realm, which obviously because of Link was able to pull out this sword, we finally have the introduction to Demise's hatred, his incarnation, who would rise again to take over. And that man is Ganondorf. And knowingly, when this sword was created, it was said that no evil can bear or even touch this blade. Only the ones who are pure of heart and are worthy of touching this blade can use it. But however, even if Link were to get struck by the sword, it can't hurt him, but it can hurt all those of evil, especially Ganondorf. And looking at the Twitch chat right now, I see Bahamut has entered the stream. Bahamut, welcome on in. Yes, you came just in time. Welcome in, Bahamut. Hope you have an awesome day today. Thank you for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. So anyway, so after being placed into 7 years in the future, the Hero of Time is all grown up. He's in a grown-up body, but he's still he's still a kid in his mind. And then he interacts with the Sage of Light, Rauru, who states that he must fulfill his destiny to become the legendary Hero of Time, as he is the one who wields the Master Sword. And obviously, thus he states that Ganondorf definitely took control of Hyrule. So Link definitely must go free the other sages, collect their medallions, and to stop Ganondorf. But once he leaves the Chamber of Sages, he finally is entered back into the altar in the Temple of Time. And for there he meets Sheik, which for there, Sheik definitely states to Link that by carrying this sword, he carries time in his hand. And this sword, this weapon right here, is capable of time manipulation. And another reason why I can say that this sword definitely has an involvement with time is because I talked about this in one of my Triforce Tuesdays videos. But I was saying that the Ocarina of Time, the reason why it has that bluish color, kind of like this part of the Master Sword right here, is, to me, I feel that it's definitely made by the same material that the hero Sky from Skyward Sword discovers. The blue rocks, also known as the Time Stones, which by striking it, Link is able to see things from the past and into the future. And to me, I feel like this is why that Link was able to go back in time. Not only was it created by the goddess Hylia herself to be made as a holy weapon, but this sword definitely has a lot of influence, a lot of manipulation when it comes to time. And that's why that the Hero of Time was able to go back and forth, back and forth in time, from being a kid to being to an adult. But the one thing we gotta know, ladies and gentlemen, is even though Link definitely gets stronger, the Hero of Time definitely gets stronger and stronger in this game. Fi is still in the blade, you guys. She never left. She's always been sleeping. Now, my possible theory as to why she never interacts with the other Links, because obviously, she definitely knows that this isn't her master. But to me, I feel like that Fi definitely is aware that for every hero, whether it be the Hero of Time, the Hero of Twilight, or any other hero who wields the Master Sword, she definitely recognizes them as like the person who shares like the same blood, or like the spirit of the legendary hero, also her master. So that's why, to me, she also chooses him. She chooses those heroes because she feels that for those who actually wield this blade, she feels the presence, the blood, and the spirit of the hero. And it just reminds her of her master when they first interacted. Now, one symbolism I can see as to how Fi definitely helps the Hero of Time in combat is definitely showcased in the final battle in Ocarina of Time. So, I don't know if you guys remember, but do you guys remember in the final battle of Ocarina of Time, where the Hero of Time is in his final combat against Ganon, and Zelda uses her magic to kind of like ease Ganon down. Excuse me. And when the Hero of Time is holding his sword, a blue aura definitely, like a blue light definitely is showing. And you can see Link kind of going like this, like, wait, whoa. So, you guys know without a doubt that aura, that was Fi. That was Fi lending her powers to aid the Hero of Time. So that way he is able to strike Ganon and to seal him away. So that way, with the help of Zelda and the sages, they too can also use their magic to seal the evil king away. So this is definitely a sign that that honestly, like, if it wasn't for the Hero of Time wielding this blade, Fi would have been there with him. Even though she doesn't interact with the Hero of Time, at least she is there. She is there, lending her strength and giving it to the Hero of Time, so that way he is capable of striking down evil. Because it just brings back the memories of, well, she was able to help Link from Skyward Sword strike down and defeat Ghirahim and the Demon King Demise. So, obviously, this is the last time that the Hero of Time definitely uses this sword. And Princess Zelda obviously sends, and obviously, she sends the Hero of Time back home because, because Hyrule is not in danger anymore, Hyrule is safe, peace has been restored, Ganondorf's been sealed away. So what does Link get to do? He can't do anything. Ganondorf's already been defeated. He already did his job. He already did his purpose. So the hero time had to be sent back home to reclaim the 7 years that he lost as a kid. And Goof says in the chat, she will never let the user fall. Exactly. No matter who the hero is, depending on the one who actually wields the Master Sword, she will never let the hero fall. And Bahamut says, Link always seems to know where to go as well, so I like to think about that in times where it's not obvious that Fi guides him without his knowledge, continuing to serve her master. Exactly. And the thing is, Bahamut, is because that was her purpose. That was her purpose for being created. The goddess Hylia created Fi to be a guide. To be a guide for those who would wield the legendary blade. So even though the different heroes who wield the Master Sword do not interact with Fi, to me, they can still feel her presence. And they know that she is definitely giving them strength to defeat all evil. So, but here, they definitely know that she definitely serves as a guide, even though she still continues to sleep within the Master Sword, which is why she never left. Sora says, and yet in Ocarina of Time, he can create a timeline split by dying to Ganon. You know what? I definitely am going to get to that, and I'm glad you actually brought this up, Sora. I definitely will get to that. So you know what? I actually was going to start with that timeline first. So moving on. We're going to be going to the Fallen timeline. And now we get to meet our first Link, who definitely we definitely get to meet our first Link who wields the blade in the Fallen timeline. Real quick, Bahamut says there's also the blade beans that can do like the Skyward Strike. This is true. There definitely are links that can use blade beans, and we'll get to that in a minute with this link I'm about to talk about. Yeah, thank you for reminding me, Bahamut. We'll definitely get to those sword beams, for sure. So obviously, you guys know the hero time definitely falls into combat against Ganondorf. He dies. So, without hesitation, Princess Zelda and the sages definitely used their magic to seal the evil king away into the sacred realm. However, this becomes a problem, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because since Ganondorf got sealed away in the sacred realm, we all know for sure is that he still inherits the Triforce of Power. It's just like how he says in the ending of Ocarina of Time, as long as I bear the Triforce of Power within my hands. And then he just fades. So guys, he still got the Triforce of Power in his hand. And with that power, he was able to contaminate and poison the Sacred Realm, also known as the Golden Land, and thus creating it into the world of his own image, which later on you guys know that to be the Dark World from A Link to the Past. Which obviously now we are getting to Link to the Past. So, introducing a new hero who definitely will wield this sword, we do have Link, the hero of legend. So obviously, this Link has also been through stuff as well. He definitely receives a telegraphic message from Princess Zelda stating that she needs his help. He must go save her. Obviously, Link's uncle says, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and leave. You stay here, and I'll go in and take care of the rest. And then from there, Link definitely infiltrates Hyrule Castle. And then he sees that his uncle has been wounded, which does he takes on the Night Sword. He takes on the Night Sword, not the Master Sword. But after meeting one of the sages, Sahasrahla, Link states that he must collect the 3 pendants, 3 legendary pendants, in order to become a true hero. And looking at the Twitch chat, we have Okami-chan. Hello, Okami-chan. How's it going? Welcome on in. Thank you for tuning into the podcast, Okami. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you have an awesome day today. Excuse me. So, okay. So anyway, back to the Hero Legend. So after the Hero Legend obtains the pendants of Courage, Wisdom, and Triforce, Sahasrahla definitely leaves a message to the Hero Legend saying that he must go to the Lost Woods and to go find the legendary blade, being the Master Sword. So after just traversing to the Lost Woods, we can't see the Sealed Temple anymore. We don't see the Temple of Time. Obviously, my theory is that temple has been decayed, which is why we mostly see the pedestal. But there is an inscription on the pedestal in the Lost Woods, which is written in Hylian language. And if Link actually pulls out the Book of Medora, which is a green book that Link actually needed in order to enter the Desert Palace in Link to the Past. I'm trying to remember what it says on the pedestal in the Lost Woods, but it says that this sword is definitely those of one who is worthy to wield the Master Sword. If anybody knows what that message says on the pedestal, feel free to let me know. Also, let me know in the comments. What does that say as well? What does that message say? One thing I've always wondered is that the blade never dulls, never dents, and never dirties. I can't help but think that Fi is always regenerating the sword as it rests in the Sacred Grove. You know what, Bahamut? I kind of do feel that. So, to me, after the Hero of Time placed the Master Sword back into the pedestal, the Master Sword, the legendary blade sleeps, as this sword just sleeps, waiting for another hero to rise for a challenge and to pull out the blade. Which obviously that Link definitely becomes, the first Link of the Fallen Timeline is Link, the hero of legend from Link to the Past. He then pulls it out. From the pedestal. So Hazrala definitely recognizes him as a legendary hero, to where he must go find Princess Zelda and strike down Aghanim. So after his first confrontation, his first battle with the Dark Wizard Aghanim, Aghanim does fall into battle, but he does use his magic to send the hero of legend into the Dark World. And from there, Link definitely must go on a quest to free the other sages, the descendants of the 7 sages, and to also rescue Princess Zelda. But now with every boss, every minion, every boss, every villain that the hero of legend has encountered, all creations by Ganon himself, definitely striking down. And obviously this Link can also use sword beams, which is honestly, to me, this feels like a gift from Fi. Because obviously, for anyone who has played Skyward Sword, for every time that Link rolls his sword skyward, like this, Fi is definitely able to lend him strength. And then a blue light comes all the way here, and for every time Link was able to strike, a sword beam comes out. And now, even though the hero of legend does not raise his sword skyward, well, at first he does, as soon as he pulls it out from the pedestal. He's definitely is able to use sword beams, if he does have full health. But, so finally, the hero of legend definitely gets into its final confrontation with Aghanim at the top of Ganon's Tower. Obviously, we know that at the end of Link to the Past, Aghanim falls, he meets his demise, and then later on, we find out that his true form was his true form being Ganon, and Aghanim was just an alter ego. So from there, so the hero of legend is in hot pursuit, chasing Ganon to the Pyramid of Power. So he gets there, and it's a final showdown against the Evil King. And then, okay, cool. Alright, anyway. So, Ganon obviously is defeated. Hyrule's at peace once more. Because now, we have this Link who definitely touches the Master Sword. And from there, makes a wish to restore peace to Hyrule. To where Zelda is ruler, the king is alive, Link's uncle is also alive. But the Master Sword also goes back to sleep, waiting for the next hero to wield it. But another thing I do want to talk about in Link to the Past is the Hero of Legend can actually infuse this blade after interacting with the blacksmiths. They can definitely go for like a crimson red sword to a golden sword after being blessed. And to me, what I feel like is that when the sword is pure gold in Link to the Past, I feel that this is to me, this feels like this is Fi at her full strength. This is why that the Hero of Legend is able to like conquer any enemy, is because with this sword being blessed, thus having a little golden blade in Link to the Past, this Fi's strength has increased. That's to me what it feels like. Until we wanted to throw that out there. Yes, I was not going to ignore about the golden sword, because obviously you guys know, for those of y'all who do play Link to the Past, you can get a golden Master Sword. And to me, the stronger it is, the more stronger that Fi, to me, definitely lends her strength to the hero who wields the Master Sword. The script on the pedestal is written backwards. Oh, is that what it says, Bahamut? Well, thank you for sharing that. Looking at Twitch, yo, Bowie, welcome in, buddy. I saw you earlier. Nice to see you again. But Bowie, welcome on in. Thank you for tuning in to today's podcast. I really do appreciate it. Bahamut says, but nah, being serious, it turns out that the pedestals... Oh, okay, he's giving me the true inscription of what it actually says in the Lost Woods, where he says, and I quote, "The hero's triumph on the Cataclysm's eve wins 3 symbols of virtue. The Master Sword he will then retrieve, keeping the knight's line true." Okay, you know what? It definitely does make sense. And to me, with that sentence, that is inscribed on the pedestal in the Lost Woods and Link to the Past, it definitely makes a lot of sense. Because this definitely is a symbolism that this sword has been used by different heroes. And obviously we know that there definitely is a spirit who definitely sleeps within the Master Sword as she waits for the next hero to be chosen. Waiting for one who is worthy, who shares like the same blood of the spirit of the legendary hero who definitely acts just like her master. So it definitely does make sense. Definitely does make sense. So, now, so jumping forward to now that Link to the Past is done, we obviously know that in Link's Awakening, the Hero of Legend does not have the sword. He definitely has his Knight Sword, which honestly, I think to me, that sword was like the sword that was given to him by his uncle. It could have been like a different blade. I mean, honestly, who knows, really? But to me, we all know that this sword is still sleeping, because the Hero of Legend put it back where it belonged, and is waiting for the next hero to retrieve it. Bahamut says, in each Link throughout the generations have been a knight in some shape or form, whether it be a knight of the sky, a knight of time, or a knight of twilight. You know what? This is definitely true, Bahamut, and we definitely will get to that when we get to Breath of the Wild. I will definitely get to that for sure. Absolutely, I actually was going to bring that up. So, now one game I'm also going to skip is I'm also going to be skipping the Oracle games. While I do know that there is a Master Sword in that game, to me, I feel like it doesn't count. Because honestly, you don't need the Master Sword in order to beat the final boss in that game. To me, it was just an upgraded sword. Like, you just get like the sword by doing trading quests or like stuff. I think it's like through trading quests. Then again, it's been a while since I played the Oracle games, but to me, I kind of feel like that one doesn't really count. Because even though there is a blade, I don't know, which honestly, I don't know why they call it that. Who even call it that? Who even call it a Master Sword? But to me, I don't think it's that Master Sword in the Oracle games. Because like I said, you can't, because that sword is optional. It's not fully required to like beat the final game. It's not a requirement. I mean, you can just use a level 2 sword, defeat Ganon, defeat like General Onyx or a Sorceress Varan, and just call it a day. But that whatever that sword is, it's not required. It definitely is not required. But anyway, now we get to move on to another game in the Fallen Timeline, which honestly, this is the last game in the Fallen Timeline that definitely to where a hero actually uses the Master Sword. And to me, okay, so guys, we have one more hero in the Fallen Timeline who wields the Master Sword, and that is the second hero of Hyrule. That is to me, and who am I referring to? That would be Link from A Link Between Worlds and Triforce Heroes. And yes, I'm going to say that Link and both Link and Link Between Worlds and Triforce Heroes, they are the same Link. As for Triforce Heroes, I do not know why. Anuma, you tell me what's up. So anyway, we move on to the Link from A Link Between Worlds. Obviously, there's not much about him, but he's just some ordinary kid. He's just a kid who definitely just wants to work as a blacksmith, even though he's always late. If everybody remembers the start of the game, to where it's like, oh my gosh, Link, you're late. How can you not be a blacksmith if you just keep on showing up late? But, however, but honestly, he does learn about the Hero of Legend. He does learn about him in Hyrule Castle when he first goes to interact with Princess Zelda and warns her about Yuga. There's like 5 murals on the wall in Hyrule Castle, which definitely talks about the Hero of Legend, how he was able to get the Master Sword, how him and Zelda were able to work together, how Ganon was defeated. The Hero of Legend definitely is referenced on those murals in Hyrule Castle. But, just like the Hero of Legend, Link from A Link Between Worlds, he definitely is able to collect the 3 pendants of courage, wisdom, and power, and he even wields the Master Sword. And he actually needed the Master Sword in order to strike the barrier that was blocking him from entering Hyrule Castle, which honestly, that magic was done by Yuga himself. So, the Hero of Legend moves on to his second battle against Yuga. Yuga obviously fails in battle. However, he does use the paintings of the descendants of the sages and is successful at summoning Ganon. Not to mention, he even merges with Ganon and becomes Yuga Ganon. But this Link to me, right at that very point in time, he was not strong enough to take on Yuga Ganon, which is why he definitely did have some help from Princess Zelda. So, and of course, obviously, Princess Zelda definitely just says hey, you need to go find the rest of the sages, definitely go help them out, and then you can definitely go take on Yuga Ganon. So, but here's another thing, ladies and gentlemen. In A Link Between Worlds, the hero of Hyrule himself can actually get a golden sword. There's no blessing involved or not anything. However, if you were to find 4 Master Ores, Link can actually speak with a blacksmith and to infuse his blade, making it stronger. And not to mention, this Link can also use sword beams, just like the Hero of Legend. So without a doubt, you guys know that this is definitely the work of Fi. Fi definitely lending her strength to this hero, because she knows that this is definitely another incantation, another incarnation, another being that definitely symbolizes the Demon King. In a way, even though Yuga definitely is merged with Ganon. But, however, With the help of Princess Zelda being able to use the light arrows, and thus he actually does acquire the Triforce of Courage when he's in the Sacred Realm. He's definitely able to strike Yuga Ganon down, and thus he's dead. He's just straight up dead, y'all. He just dies. But honestly, if it wasn't for the Triforce of Courage, and if it wasn't for Fi herself, Link would have not been able to strike down Yuga Ganon in Link Between Worlds. And then from there, Link and Zelda definitely wish, by touching the Triforce, to giving Lorule back their Triforce. Obviously, you guys know this is the same Dark World now, but it definitely takes on a name by the Kingdom of Lorule. Yeah, excuse me. But you guys know at the end of the game, the Master Sword definitely goes back in. The Master Sword definitely goes back into the pedestal as it continues to sleep and rest, just waiting for the next hero to obtain it. And looking at Twitch now, we have a new member, Yo Daifa. Welcome on in. Welcome on into the stream. I don't know much about Zelda, but I'm here. Well, you know what? I appreciate you being here. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. And I thank all of you guys for being here and tuning into the podcast where I get to talk about Zelda. You guys are freaking awesome. So, obviously, we're not going to talk about Triforce Heroes because there's no Master Sword in there. No Master Sword in there. We're also not going to be talking about Zelda 1 and Zelda 2. And first of all, we don't talk about that game. Period. But those games have no involvement with this sword. So the Fallen timeline has been complete. Bowie says the Master goes back in and sleeps until the next Alarmo wakes up. Oh my god, Bowie. What do you mean it's a perfectly flawless game? What about Zelda 1.5, 2.5? We don't talk about that. We don't talk about those games. Disgusting trash. Oh my god, y'all are crazy. So now, alright y'all, so now we get to move on to our next timeline. And that is going to be the child timeline. So, obviously, Majora's Mask, obviously, this sword is not involved because you guys already know how it goes. The hero time definitely gets sent back forward into 7 years into the past to reclaim the childhood that he didn't get to have. He warns Princess Zelda, stating that Ganondorf is coming, to where she even entrusts him with the Ocarina of Time. But he doesn't take the Master Sword with him because obviously you guys know he's too young. He's just a kid, so he can't use his blade. The blade is still sleeping in the Temple of Time. So Majora's Mask unfortunately does have to be skipped. Now we do get to talk about a pretty epic game to where this sword is absolutely involved, and you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. But ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about the next hero in line who wields the Blade of Evil's Bane, and that is the Hero of Twilight from Twilight Princess. We are going to be talking about him and how he was able to get this sword and how he was chosen to be the next one in line. So we guys know the Hero of Twilight, the farmer boy from Ordon Village, the boy who gets turned into a wolf and is definitely known throughout the light spirits as the Blue-Eyed Beast. So, obviously from there, he definitely interacts with the best companion of all time, being Midna. Midna is #1 companion, chat. You guys know this. Midna is superior companion. Don't at me. Everyone knows she's the best. She is definitely the best. So obviously, there's no recollection about the Hero Twilight's past, but we do know where he definitely gets his swordman skills from. And to me, I do feel like that this incarnation of Link definitely gets his combat skills from a person who definitely lives in the village, and who also serves as a father figure throughout the game, which you guys know exactly who I'm talking about, I'm talking about Russell. So, I don't remember there's much more to say about Russell. We don't know if he actually served as a Knight of Hyrule and just retired, but he definitely is familiar with the royal family of Hyrule. He knows who Princess Zelda is. So, we can definitely say he definitely probably might be an old knight. Which is why, he definitely is that swordsman who is within the village. But the hero of Twilight definitely goes through many trials and errors, even serving as a role of being the blue-eyed beast. So, throughout the game, after Midna has her lament, and she is definitely she's in a weakened state. They finally need to go to where this sword definitely sleeps, and that is in the Sacred Grove. So they finally get to the Sacred Grove. They interact with a Skull Kid, a mischievous Skull Kid, who to me acts more like a guide. He acts more like a guide, guiding the hero of Twilight to the forest, and to the place where the Master Sword sleeps. And once the Skull Kid definitely has his little fun, the hero of Twilight finally enters the area where the Master Sword sleeps. And we do have the Sacred Grove Guardians, which, by the way, you guys know, and I'm sure a lot of us know who have played here Twilight Princess. Everyone hates that Master Sword puzzle, the one with the giant guardian statues. I fucking hate that thing. It sucks. It is trash. Get that puzzle out of my face. Y'all know what I'm talking about, Twilight Princess fans. You guys know. Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Bahamut says best hero. Yes. Sora says Majora's Mask got the mirror show. You got the mirror show. Nice. Awesome sauce. Definitely awesome sauce. Bahamut says one thing with it is that I always wondered the Skull Kid recognizes the hero's spirit inside Link as same as the hero of time. That's why he guides. That's a really interesting question, Bahamut. That's a really interesting question, because the thing is, why would he choose Link to guide him to the Forest? Now, honestly, we can't say we don't know it's the same Skull Kid from Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. We don't know it's the same dude. We obviously don't know. I mean, we don't know how long Skull Kids have to live. But honestly, it could be a possibility that that this Skull Kid probably recognized the hero of Twilight, sharing the same blood or the same spirit, as the hero, as the legendary hero. Which honestly, I'm gonna say this: spoilers alert to anybody who has not read the Twilight Princess manga. Which obviously I do know it's not canon. It definitely is just an original story. But I wanted to bring this up since Bahamut definitely is bringing this up. So, in the manga for Twilight Princess, the hero of Twilight in his wolf form interacts with the Skull Kid. The Skull Kid definitely looks at the hero of Twilight and says, "You look familiar. You look like him, but you're not him." Which obviously we all know that he is referring to the hero of time. So I just wanted to bring that out real quick from the manga. So anyway, so we obviously know that the hero of Twilight was placed on a curse by Zant, which obviously you guys know about the little shadow crystal that Midna was able to find here in the head, on Link's head. And after when he finds the Master Sword that is sleeping in the pedestal in the Sacred Grove, the curse is broken, and Link definitely is restored to his true form. And do y'all want to know something, y'all? I feel like that the reason why we had that gust of wind that was blowing in that one cutscene, why Link was able to break that curse when he was a wolf, is because, chat, that was the work of Fi. I feel like that it was Fi who actually broke the curse that was placed on Link, as she chose him to be the next hero to wield the blade of Evil's Bane. Henceforth, as to why even Midna was able to hold on to the Shadow Crystal, which allows Link to turn into the wolf again. So, honestly, that is definitely my strong theory. And that shiny flash of light that we got to see, guys, in Twilight Princess, that was Fi. That to me was Fi just lending her strength, serving as a guide to where she is going to guide this hero to make sure that he definitely wields the Master Sword and is able to strike down evil. So to me, I feel like that Fi definitely was responsible, and how she definitely was the one who broke the curse off Wolflink, thus turning him into his human form. Bahamut says a good point, because we don't actually know how the Master Sword's protection works. It's very possible that Fi held from inside the sword. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Exactly, Bahamut. I do feel like, indeed, that Fi definitely was the one who broke the curse off of Wolflink and was able to transform him back into human form, so that way that he is definitely able, he is worthy to wield this blade. So the hero Twilight definitely goes through many trials and errors, fighting more monsters, finding his way to the Twilight Realm, restoring the Mirror of Twilight, even though we all know that fucking asshole Zant shattered it. We also learned about the execution of Ganondorf, which obviously was failed, and thus Ganondorf actually kills the Sage of Water, thus taking the Light Sword, and then obviously gets sealed away into the Twilight Realm. But you guys know that Zant obviously befriends Ganondorf, because Ganondorf says like, "Oh, I'm a god, and I'm going to give you my power." So he kind of just uses Zant like a puppet. Yes, exactly, Goof. Yes, Zant is you, which, by the way, that is a reference to my best friend Michaela, aka Gluten-Free Waifu, to where she was in a podcast with me in one of my other episodes, where she says herself that Zant is you. So anyway, oh, here's one. Sora says this: I don't know if Fi is the reason that curse on Link was broken for one reason. The Master Sword is called the Blade of Evil's Bane, so it can repel any evil, which is why that curse was. So honestly, you do have a good... I definitely see where you're getting at, Sora, and I feel like that in the spring of Wineru, like after Link defeats Morpheal, in the Lake Bed Temple, they obviously come back to the Wineru Spring. Zant definitely shrouds the entire... shrouds the land of Hyrule into twilight. He definitely weakens Midna, and even uses his magic to actually turn Link into a wolf, and that's where we saw that Shadow Crystal. So it definitely was like a curse of evil, but honestly, it could be a strong mystery that within the sword, even though this sword is the Blade of Evil's Bane, that Fi definitely used her powers to break the curse. Honestly, it's a mystery. It is definitely one of the strongest mysteries out there. Sora says, let's all take a moment to remember Farmer Zant. Oh my god. Bahamut says, true, but it was called the Blade of Evil's Bane because of the sword itself, or because Fi, who is created by the goddess Hylia herself, resides in it. Thought-provoking. Yes, she does sleep. Yes, she is a spirit of the Master Sword, Bahamut. So obviously, she still is sleeping within this legendary blade. So, like I said, it could be a really, really strong theory. Definitely is. Excuse me. It definitely is one of the strongest theories out there. So, and then carrying on. So Link and Midna finally are able to enter the Twilight Realm, and by bringing back 2 orbs, Link's Master Sword is granted magical power to where it definitely has like a little golden aura, and I feel that, to me, with that golden aura, I feel like that was probably the power of the Tweely. This would have to be the power of the Tweely lending their strength to the Master Sword, and thus giving more offense for Fi. Because to me, that's why I feel like that the Master Sword gets stronger. Is when Link was able to bring back those 2 orbs in the Palace of Twilight. And we see like that golden light that is able to eradicate all forms of darkness within the Palace of Twilight. That, to me, was like the aid of the Tweely, but also the aid of Fi. And even which is why, of course, that with the help of this golden power and with the help of Fi, the hero of Twilight was able to defeat Dark Lord Ganondorf into a battle. But by pretty much just like getting him right into the chest and just getting him right into the chest, you know? So, obviously, this sword is definitely sleeping within the chest of Dark Lord Ganondorf, which obviously, he's flat out dead. He is straight up dead, along with Zant. Like, the sword is not back in the pedestal whatsoever. I mean, obviously, it probably could be, but who knows, really? But we do know that at the end of Twilight Princess, this sword definitely just sleeps, waiting for another hero to rise. So, that, ladies and gentlemen, that is the conclusion of the Child Timeline. And now, we get to go on to one more timeline before we actually get to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which definitely will get to those. But there is one more hero in the main 3 timelines who actually wields the Master Sword. There's one more. And that, to me, ladies and gentlemen, is the Hero of Winds. We are going to be talking about Link, the Hero of Winds from Wind Waker and Phantom Hourglass, and how he is the only Link in that timeline to wield the Master Sword. Oh, and the only reason why I'm concluding the Child Timeline is because Four Swords Adventures has no involvement with the Master Sword. That is the Fourth Sword, so no Master Sword involvement, so that game is skipped. So Four Swords Adventures is skipped. Decided to throw that out there too. Anyway, so moving on to Wind Waker and the adult timeline. This is a kid who also wields the Master Sword. Now, as far as his family goes, it definitely has some little points here and there, especially at the start of Wind Waker, because obviously, you know, Link's grandmother definitely does have like the shield mounted on the wall, which he definitely does talk about it. But I do feel like that the Hero Winds definitely is like a spirit of the legendary hero. He is definitely like the spirit to the Hero of Time, because he even learns about him thanks to the King of Red Lions. He does learn about the Hero of Time later on throughout the game. So, after going through many temples and sailing across the Great Sea with the King of Red Lions, and just by ringing the bell that sits on top of the Tower of the Gods, a portal actually opens to a Hyrule Castle of old, which was flooded because of the Great Flood. Which, by the way, if you guys have not seen my podcast video on the Great Flood, y'all should definitely go check it out, because I did talk about this in that particular video. So going back, so Link definitely enters a monochrome land of Hyrule, to where it's like completely monochrome. It's black and white, and that is because time has completely stopped. Time has completely stopped, and to me, and we definitely got to take it back. We got to take this back a quick moment, you guys. Because it's just like Sheik says to the Hero of Time in Ocarina of Time. Time plays a key role with this sword. Time is key. So, moving on to the next stuff. So, the Hero Winds definitely finds his sword sleeping within the pedestal. But it's a lot different. It's a lot different. Like, these edges right here are like completely flat. They're like all the way like here, like where my hands are at. They're like all the way here. Now, the reasoning as to why why the Magic Sword is at a weakened state, that is a really interesting question. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. That definitely raises a lot of questions as to why the Master Sword in Wind Waker starts off at a weakened state. Because when Link definitely encounters Ganondorf for the first time, he cannot strike down the evil king. There's not even a dent on him. Because, now, there is one quote that gets to me in Wind Waker that Ganondorf says to the Hero of Winds in the Forsaken Fortress. And he says, you cannot use a power of a sword that has no sparkle. And when he's about to strike down the Hero of Winds, he basically says, go back and tell the people who made the sword, and tell them that its power is gone and its edges are dull. Those are the words from Ganondorf himself, which, by the way, this is the same man from Ocarina of Time after he broke free from his prison. Definitely wanted to add that too. This is definitely the same man from Ocarina of Time. But however, actually, you know what? There definitely is a reason as to why this sword actually got, okay, now that I think about it, there was a reason why its edges were completely dull and its powers are gone. So, there were two sages who actually were saying prayers to the Master Sword. We have the Sage of Earth named Naruto, who is a Zora, and then finally we have the Sage of Wind being Fado, a member of the Kokiri Forest. Even though it's kind of odd that we actually don't meet him in Ocarina of Time. But there is a girl in that game, in the Kokiri Forest, who actually is named Fado. But Fado's a girl in that game. But that's not important. Anyway, so while when Naruto and Fado were still alive, they were in their own temples, saying prayers to the gods and the goddesses, blessing for the Master Sword to get stronger and to gain its rest. However, Ganondorf, when he took over, Ganondorf basically killed him. He basically kills both Naruto and Fado. So to me, that definitely explains why the power is gone and the edges are dull. Is because the sages who were praying to the gods for the Master Sword, they were killed and met their demise because of Ganondorf. So after Link definitely enters each of the two temples, he interacts with the spirits of Naruto, and with Fado. And of course, they say that in order to restore the Master Sword to its true potential, they must find a descendant who definitely plays the same instrument as they do. For Naruto, obviously that descendant turns out to be Medley, a girl, a Rito from Dragon Roost Island. And then finally, we have the Korok named Bakar. And after Link defeats the bosses within the two temples of the Earth Temple and the Wind Temple, the Hero of Winds definitely conducts both the Earth God's lyric and the Wind God's aria together in the temples. And by standing in the middle and to where the descendants of the sages, both Medley and Bakar, are saying their prayers, the sword is definitely back to its true form. And it has that glowing glow. So to me, I feel like that Fi was at a weakened state. I feel like that she was at a weakened state, which is why she wasn't even strong enough to actually fight. To why Link was not strong enough to fight Ganondorf. But, thanks to the descendant of the sages, the power was able to be restored. That's why we can see the blue aura that's like shines throughout the Master Sword in Wind Waker, is because Fi's power has been restored. While it has been sleeping for a long time, it definitely has been waiting for the next hero to wield this blade, even though the original sages, being Fado and Naruto, were killed by Ganondorf. The descendants had to say prayers to the gods above to definitely get this blade back to its true form. And then looking at Twitch now, we see Ostafia. Ostafia, welcome in, buddy. Thanks for tuning in, bud. I really do appreciate it. And Siuni, welcome on in. So good to see you, too. I saw you earlier today. Thank you both for being here. I really do appreciate it. Hope you guys are having an awesome day today. We're talking about Wind Waker right now. But Siuni, Ostafia, it's so good to see you guys. I hope you guys are having an awesome day today. So anyway, so going back to Wind Waker, you guys. So, after the hero wins, definitely collects the 8 pieces of the Triforce of Courage. Which, keep in mind, this is also the Hero of Time's Triforce of Courage. Because if you guys remember, even though Link is victorious in this timeline, since they didn't need a hero anymore, the 8 pieces of the Triforce shatter, and the Hero of Time vanishes. The Hero of Time vanishes from this timeline. So now the hero wins is worthy of inheriting the Triforce of Courage, even though he still wields the Master Sword. So after he climbs Ganon's tower, he fights Puppet Ganon, and definitely goes on to his final confrontation against the evil king himself. Link and Princess Zelda definitely do work together. They fight Ganondorf. And basically, being a badass, and you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, this kid literally takes the Master Sword and just thrusts it right into the skull. Like, holy crap. When I first saw that, I literally lost my mind. So from there, the Master Sword in this timeline is like struck right into Ganondorf's skull, and as Ganondorf gets turned into stone. But after the King of Red Lions definitely places a wish on the Triforce, stating that he wants Link and Zelda to find a brighter future, to go seek a new land, to where he tells Princess Zelda, where he says, "But child, that land will not be my land, it will be your land." But obviously at the end of the game, the Master Sword is sleeping at the bottom of the ocean, where Ganondorf definitely sits. But so Ganondorf was defeated because of the help of Fi. And Fi is able to keep him locked away while it is drowned at the bottom of the ocean. And that was part of the King of Red Lion's wish, to where he even shouts, Ganondorf, may you drown with Hyrule. And that was part of that wish. That the King of Hyrule, also known as the King of Red Lions, definitely says. Ganondorf turns to stone, so does that mean he becomes a new pedestal? That is a really funny question to ask, Bahamut. Maybe? Probably. So, now that this one is over, we definitely are going to skip Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. Because there is no Master Sword in those games. While the main blades in those games kind of look like the Master Sword, they're different blades. We have the Phantom Sword, and then we have the Locomo Sword. So, but no Master Sword is involved in Phantom Hourglass and in Spirit Tracks. So we're going to be skipping those games. Okay. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to the conclusion of these next games, which obviously you guys know exactly where I'm getting at. I mean, what if the pedestal was the seal that kept evil contained? Oh. What actually, Astafia? That definitely is the point of the sword. This sword is to eradicate evil and to seal evil away. So that's why Ganondorf in Wind Waker was not able to break free from his prison. That's why he's just straight out just defeated. And it was also was part of the wish that the King of Red Lion said. It's where he should drown with Hyrule. So Fi is definitely keeping Ganondorf locked away to make sure he does not break out. And Bahamut says at the point, the Master Sword was still at the bottom of the ocean in those games, I believe. That is, even though it doesn't appear in Phantom Hourglass. Yeah, to me, because in Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks, the Master Sword in the adult timeline still sleeps at the bottom of the ocean. And Fi is just containing that evil that is within Ganondorf. But now, you guys know exactly where we're getting at next with these next games. Now we're going to be talking about the recently new games on the block. You guys know what we're talking about. You guys know what's coming next. Yes. We are going to first start off with Breath of the Wild. We're going to be talking about Breath of the Wild. So, now, we're going to talk about Breath of the Wild. Now, we do know that this game, that in Breath of the Wild, not only does this sword definitely serves its purpose as the Blade of Evil's Bane, but chat, it also has a different name that we get to learn about in Breath of the Wild. And that is definitely known as the sword that seals the darkness. And this is definitely honestly, it makes sense. Because this sword is definitely known for eradicating all evil. And it's to seal the darkness away. Just like how we saw in Skyward Sword, after Demise was defeated, and we saw the darkness being all sealed away. So it's a strong reference there. So now we have this incarnation of Link. We have the Hero of Wild. So, obviously we do know that he serves as an appointed knight for the Kingdom of Hyrule. He definitely is to serve and to protect Princess Zelda at all costs. Excuse me. But we do know that this is the only sword that he wields throughout the game. Mostly, as definitely is shown within the memories. Now, looking back at the memories in Breath of the Wild, this incarnation of Link has slayed many numerous amount of monsters. From Lionels, to Bokoblins, to Moblins, to Octoroks. This sword definitely eradicated a lot of evil. And Link from Breath of the Wild was able to strike down all evil that's in his path. And knowing with so many things going on, it definitely explains as to why this Link is so quiet. Why he chooses not to talk. Because he feels that it needs to be a burden to be silent. And with so many eyes on him, he just chooses to be quiet. Which obviously is written in Princess Zelda's diary. Which obviously you can find that in Zelda's room in Hyrule Castle. But throughout the memories in the game, Princess Zelda says one message, and Bahamut was talking about this earlier in the Twitch chat. Zelda says a prayer to Link, to where she says, Hero of Hyrule, we pray for you to help you through this journey, whether it be skyward bound, reference to Skyward Sword, to the arrows of Twilight, or through time, so I think it's really unique that she actually references both Skyward Sword, Ocarina of Time, and Twilight Princess. So, being a researcher, it definitely shows to know that Princess Zelda was aware of these other heroes from the past. And she probably studied about them, because she's she's a scholar. This Zelda is obviously a scholar, she's a researcher. So, she definitely seems to know more than meets the eye with someone who's extremely intelligent. For a princess who's completely intelligent. Bahamut says, one thing in Breath of the Wild I noticed was the sword telling Zelda where to take Link after he was injured in battle. Yes, I actually was going to get to that memory. So during the Great Calamity, when Calamity Ganon arose from the darkness, and he's getting ready to take over Hyrule. His malice definitely is like... His malice, not only does it create monsters and minions, but it also is merged with the Guardians. And you guys know exactly how creepy, how fucking creepy those Guardians are. They still give me the chills to this day. But anyway, so there is one piece of memory to where Link is actually at a weakened state. But here's one thing that we actually even notice. The Master Sword is damaged, you guys. It is damaged. Like from like here to here, the blade is damaged. It is completely damaged. And Link straight up dies in this game. He freaking dies in Breath of the Wild. Now here's another thing. Even though Zelda was capable of using some magic, even though it kind of like, it took her a while to like discover it, when she definitely became of age after her 17th birthday, she definitely sees the sword glowing, which obviously you guys know that same sound we hear, that is Fi. So basically, she knew that the spirit of her master, the spirit of the hero of old, still is within this Link who met his demise. So even Zelda knew, like after translating messages, after hearing the voice within the sword, Fi knew that there was a way that this Link can be saved. And the only way to save him was to put him to sleep in the Shrine of Resurrection for 100 years. But not only that, but the Master Sword needed to be back into the proper pedestal to where it can fully heal and rest. And it took 100 years for Link to actually regain the Master Sword once again. Which obviously you guys know, the Master Sword in Breath of the Wild, and just like Bahamut said in the Twitch chat, it's got some pretty peak design, y'all. It is some really peak design for a sword. So Link is definitely able to obtain the Master Sword. He definitely takes on the trials by helping out like descendants of like the different sages. He definitely aids Sidon, the prince of the Zora's Domain. He helps out Riju, who definitely later on is the Gerudo chief. He helps out the Yunobo, who ends up being the descendant of Daruk. And then finally there is Teba, an archer from Rito Village. But Link is also able to obtain the powers of the champions, such as Rivali's Gale, Daruk's Protection, Urbosa's Fury, Mipha's Grace. But he's able to eradicate the Blight Ganons. And after striking down the Blight Ganons, the Hero of Wild takes off for his final confrontation to defeat Calamity Ganon once and for all in Hyrule Castle. And we do know that that Calamity Ganon is not in his true form. It is definitely an odd merge of all the other Blight Ganons. So to me, we obviously know he's not in his complete state, which is why he looks the way he is, like that weird spider-looking-ish kind of form. But throughout the game, he is able to eradicate Calamity Ganon once and for all. Calamity Ganon is defeated, and Zelda herself uses her magic to seal and to even defeat the malice of the Calamity. But we all know that with the help of Fi and Link being able to wield his sword, he was able to strike down the Calamity. He was able to defeat and to eradicate Calamity Ganon. And looking at Twitch chat, Bahamut says, that's something I've always theorized, actually. Is the sword somehow linked to its wielder's life? This is a sword that never seems to rust or dull, yet with Link gets injured, the damage shows. Oh, freaking fly. So go to symbolize wielder's life, and in Tears of the Kingdom where Link loses his arm, the sword gets decayed. So to me, the way how I feel like it works, Bahamut, is that when a hero actually obtains this sword, Fi definitely chooses the hero who shares like the same blood and the same spirit as the hero. Even the one who was even the Link who was her master. So whether its edges are dull, it's completely destroyed. To me, and I honestly see where you're getting at, Bahamut. It definitely has. This sword can definitely be linked to like the spirit of the hero of the sky, which is why Fi definitely chooses the person who definitely draws the blade. So whoever draws it, she can to me, I feel like that she can feel the presence of her master. That's why we had heroes like the Hero of Time, the Hero of Twilight, all the other Links who were able to wield this blade. It's because she feels the essence of the blood and the spirit of the hero. Also, her master. So, that is definitely can be one reason why, Bahamut. But now, we are finally getting to Tears of the Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, we are definitely concluding this podcast with our final game. The game that came out a year and a half ago. We got Tears of the Kingdom. By the way, big major spoiler for anybody who has not played Tears of the Kingdom. Major spoilers coming. You've been warned. Big spoiler warning. Very interesting point indeed, right, Bahamut? So, at the start of Tears of the Kingdom, we do see Link and Zelda entering, like, the depths of Hyrule Castle, in the Hyrule Castle castle. So, they get to this dark room. They learn about the imprisoning war. They learn about Ganondorf. And they see a shining hand that's holding down a decayed Ganondorf's body. Which obviously later on you guys know that hand definitely once belonged to Rauru. But, so, to me, the reason why this sword broke is that the gloom was like, it's so powerful. And I feel like that with Ganondorf's power, with the combination of his power, I also feel like that the power of Demise also awakened within him, which is why his power definitely gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Which is why even that gloom was even strong enough to shatter this Master Sword, and also to injure Link, definitely injuring Link's hand. But so from here, now we know that we have another decayed Master Sword, which honestly stops about right here where my finger's at. At least I'm guessing that's how closest to length. So with that magic hand that Link definitely finds, he later learns that it definitely belongs to Rauru, who definitely served as the king of Hyrule, along with his wife, Queen Sonia, which, obviously, if you guys remember from the Dragon Tears memories, she definitely meets her demise because Ganondorf straight up killed her, and thus he even wanted her sacred stone. Which is why, even by grabbing it, he even uses it and gets even more powerful. Honestly, this Ganondorf is absolutely a complete badass. But going back to this sword. So with this sword being completely eradicated, completely decayed, Princess Zelda also takes on the role as a Sage of Time. So when Link actually interacts with Zelda, well, kind of, when he kind of interacts with her. In the era of time where Zelda is present, it's where she's aiding Rauru and Sonia. She discovers the Master Sword, and she knows that she can actually save the sword. She can save Fi, even though at the end of the Breath of the Wild she says she can no longer hear the voice of the sword. But she is able to help restore the sword's power, to restore it to its true potential, and to make sure its edges are just back to its original form and it's not decayed anymore. And here comes the sad part, you guys. You guys already know that when Zelda swallowed that sacred stone, she became the light dragon that we all know. The light dragon that Link in his era of time can see flying around the skies of Hyrule. Which honestly, that scene really broke my heart, you guys. Like, when I first played it on my all-time, that scene destroyed me on the inside. It destroyed me. But we do know that before Zelda became a dragon, she definitely was holding the sword, because she knew that by using the power of the sacred stone and by swallowing it and thus turning herself into a dragon, even though it would have been even though Minoru said it would be impossible for Zelda to turn back, she knew that she had to sacrifice herself just so that Link can find the Master Sword, and that way it can be restored to its full power, its full potential. Which is why throughout the game in Tears of the Kingdom, to where she says, Link, you must find me. Because she knows that she wants her hero to find the sword. Because even the sages themselves, like Rauru and the other sages of old that we definitely learn throughout the game, they know that Link is the only one who can defeat Ganondorf, as he is the chosen hero. Because here's the thing, when he got the Master Sword, he did not get to pick this. They chose him. They chose him to be the wielder of this blade, which is why he is known as the knight who carries the sword that seals the darkness on his back. So when Link definitely discovers the Light Dragon, which honestly later on turns out to be Princess Zelda, the Master Sword is restored to its full potential. And honestly, we do know that Fi's okay. She's okay. She definitely is okay. She's okay, so that's good. So that is definitely is good. So when Link and the new sages enter the darkness of under Hyrule Castle, they finally go for the one final showdown to where they feel that they can definitely find Ganondorf throughout all that gloom. And then from there, it is the final showdown. And honestly, one of the most incredible final showdowns of all time. You guys know how epic that final boss battle against Ganondorf is in Tears of the Kingdom. Bahamut says, since Link has the blade that seals the darkness, it could be said that he is no longer a normal knight, but a paladin. You know, that is really interesting to think about, Bahamut. I really do like that. That could be a really strong theory. I like that, actually. That's a pretty good one, but I definitely do see where you're getting at. That could be that's definitely seems like a really valid argument. I like that. But I do see where you're getting at. So even though Link is definitely able to defeat Ganondorf, Ganondorf is able to swallow his sacred stone, and thus he turns into the demon dragon. Freaking fly. Get out of here. Get off my microphone. Damn fly. So with the help of Princess Zelda, Link definitely, with the help of Fi, definitely strikes down the darkness on Demon Dragon, even destroying Ganondorf's sacred stone, and with the power of the sword, the blade of the evil Bane, the sword that seals the darkness, Ganondorf is defeated once and for all. Hyrule has been restored. Peace definitely is spreading across the land. And Link, not only is Link able to get his arm back, but with the help of Rauru and Queen Sonia, Zelda finally turns back to her true self. To where Link definitely ends up catching her. And then from there, it becomes a happy ending. It definitely becomes a strong, happy ending. Indeed. And honestly, this is definitely, to me, is for now, the last time that we actually get to see the Master Sword. Until we probably see it into another game. Now, y'all are probably wondering, what about the sword that's blue with Echoes of Wisdom? So, spoiler alert. For those who have not played Echoes of Wisdom, and if you have played Echoes of Wisdom, you'll understand. But that sword is not the Master Sword, obviously. That sword is called the Shield of Might, which is a blade that actually was given to Link, a sword that actually was created by Impa's brother. That was a sword that was created by Impa's brother. Now, as to where the Master Sword is in that game, I can definitely say that that sword is definitely sleeping within the timeline, within the Fallen timeline. So we don't know from there as to when the next Master Sword will be found once again. So, ladies and gentlemen, to conclude all of this, to fully conclude this podcast, we've had a lot of heroes who wielded this blade. We've had the hero Sky from Skyward Sword. We've had the hero of Time from Ocarina of Time / Majora's Mask. We've had the hero of Legend from Link's Awakening and Link to the Past. We've had the second hero of Hyrule from A Link Between Worlds and Triforce Heroes. We've had the hero of Twilight from Twilight Princess. We've had the hero of Winds from the Wind Waker. And then finally, we've had the hero of Wild from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. What all these links have in common, including throughout the other games, to where the Master Sword is not involved, they've each shared like either a blood or a spirit of the legendary hero of old. And for those heroes who actually have obtained this blade, we know without a doubt that Fi was always there and why she never left. That's why each hero were able to slay different minions, whether it be Yuga, whether it be Ganon, whether it be Ganondorf. The only reason why those heroes were able to use this blade to eradicate all evil is because Fi guided them. Even though Fi serves as a spirit of the sword, she still sleeps within the Master Sword. But being created by the goddess Hylia, she must serve her duty of being a guide, just like how she did for her master. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the 10th episode of the Zelda podcast, the Kokiri Chronicles. And I want to say thank you all for being here. Thank you guys so much for 10 freaking episodes. You guys are absolutely incredible. I freaking love you all. And I can't wait to do more in the future. And you guys know without a doubt, you guys are going to be getting more episodes in the future. You guys will get more without a doubt. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, please do not forget to do the following by liking, sharing, subscribing, all that good jazz, as it really helps me out. It really does help me out. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for me to reveal what is going to be the next episode and the last Zelda podcast for 2024. Don't worry, this is not the final podcast ever. You guys are going to get more in 2025. I promise you. You guys will get more episodes next year in 2025. But I definitely wanted to say that this is obviously going to be the last one in 2024. And then you guys are obviously going to get more in 2025. So, here it is. So, join me next month, you guys, as for the next episode, for episode 11. As my next episode, the next discussion I will be having about for the month of December is I will be talking about Spirit Tracks and to how it stands 15 years later. Because on December 7th, Spirit Tracks will be celebrating its 15th anniversary. The game came out on December 7th, 2009, and we're going to talk about how 15 years later, it still stands out to be one of the greatest Zelda games of all time. So if you guys love Spirit Tracks, you definitely want to hear what I have to say about Spirit Tracks. Obviously, also fun fact, this is my best friend and mod Sora 850's favorite 2D Zelda game. That is actually the true fact. If you don't believe me, you can ask him. He'll tell you. He'll definitely will tell you. But we will be talking about Spirit Tracks and basically just talking about the game, my thoughts on it, my origin with it. to celebrate the game's 15th anniversary. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank you all for watching. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys have a great rest of your nights, and I will see you guys next time for the next episode of the Zelda podcast. See you guys later. Take care.